Oh,
Sorry.
oh.
We are recording.
Oh, we are recording.
Anytime you were ready.
Well, I actually just want to welcome to the podcast the new voice of Dash.
That's me.
So, Jared, welcome. It's an honor and privilege to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
All right. Good night, everybody. So, Jared, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good.
I just kind of want to, I guess, lead off the bat. That it's really been a joy to have you come in and step in to the role of Dash for our podcast, season 2, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about. So I want to get into it. Have you ever done like podcasting before? Have you ever done voiceover work? And if not, like, why haven't you? Because you're so great at it.
Yeah, podcasting, not really. In terms of acting in audio dramas, I've dabbled. In college, I was a part of 2 productions. I did a audio drama version of Christmas Carol, which I think there's actually quite a few of those. And my school kind of started its own series, and I was like a graduating senior at the time, so I did just a couple voices in like the first season. And for a couple years after I had graduated, I did just a couple small online projects just to continue kind of dabbling. And I've just been lucky enough, I guess, to have been kept busy with other avenues of performing. But I've always enjoyed getting to do voiceover work. And I think it's very uniquely challenging compared to, say, like acting for stage or film.
For this, I would say, like, for someone to kind of say, hey, can you jump in as the lead in our second series, like our second season, after we have a completed first season, what was that maybe more nerve-wracking than just getting cast in a role?
It's interesting and a challenge because you are entering into a established character, and there's that line that you walk. It's like, on the one hand, you definitely want to honor and pay homage to the performance that came before without seeming like you are mimicking or just trying to as if you're you can't be that person. Same if you like perform a role that has been made famous by some of these other actors. You will never be that person no matter how much you try to emulate them. And so then, but you want to pay homage to it. And on the other hand, you come in with your own ideas for the character, your own voice, your own mannerisms. And so that kind of just naturally finds its way in regardless. And so I like to think that with this, we kind of hit on a nice happy medium. I think that this take on Dash is definitely my own voice and style, but I definitely listened to all the episodes. I tried to bring some of his vocal qualities and energy into it. So I like to think that we kind of hit that mark of it's my take on the character, but it's also an homage to season 1 as well.
Jared Calhoun is like a person who, if I'm just talking to him like casually at 8 o'clock in the morning at work about what he ate for breakfast, he sounds like he's fallen out of like a 50s film noir kind of. Yeah. Like his voice just has that natural quality to it, so I knew he would be a great fit for that. And he's a fantastic actor too, and just really fun and really cool. And I knew he'd be a great fit. So
I think one of the fun things we discovered when we did start this project together was I was going through my calendar like way back when I was still relatively a new performer to the Philadelphia area. And I was like, I auditioned for you at one point for this reading. You didn't cast me.
Oops.
That was a fun little discovery when we started working together on this project.
I forgot about that. Oh, wow.
So that's fun. I think one of the great things about this medium in general is you just get to tell stories that either you can't or would be very difficult to tell in other avenues. I love all aspects of acting and all mediums, though predominantly personally I'm a stage actor. I've done plenty of plays, musicals. My love are straight plays and Shakespeare in particular. And I think in my personal training and technique, the thing that Shakespeare ingrained in me is a importance on the words, on how they're pronounced, on how you play with them, the fluidity of it, the tonality. It's almost like a music when you're doing Shakespeare, because it is poetry. And so that lends itself very naturally to this medium where all you have are the words. And you have to convey everything. And I think in our recording, there's been a number of times where it's been like, well, actually, let's pause and look at like, what's the action that's happening here? How can we convey what's happening in the story even more clearly? Because all we have is my voice and of course all the sound effects around it.
Got the playful you were looking for?
Yeah.
With verbless.
The verbless.
It's without verb, but it's there.
Yeah, no. There was
all right.
And there was the action to it. I don't know what the fuck that action is.
I verbed the hell out of it.
You did. You certainly verbed it. It was actionable.
Thank you. I mean, I usually verb in private, but not on display.
Let's do a fun run.
Fun run.
Fun run. You guys do whatever you want.
So fun run. If you want to overlap and fire, you can.
Cool. Dave wrote.
Got it. And that way, if they decide to go with the fun run, that's on them, and they get to clean it up. Anything that comes out of my mouth is probably going to be anachronistic.
You can be anti-cryonistic as much as you
That's
want.
not the word I say.
All right, go on.
I'm buying you a thesaurus for your birthday, which is in, 3 days?
Happy birthday, Dave.
Oh, happy birthday, Dave!
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
I'm gonna be 49.
No, you're not. You're such a fucking liar.
Jared.
Mine's in 2 weeks if we're counting.
Oh, you're a Gemini.
Oh, you're going to be
too.
49 in 2 weeks?
31.
There you go.
God, I
What a
remember 30.
baby.
Oh, you're a Gemini. I knew I liked you.
I
for a
kind of
reason.
remember.
June 3rd.
Oh, nice.
I kind of remember 31. Sorry. Wasn't that long ago.
I'm writing that
Hey,
down.
Dave, this
Yeah.
is also a fun run, so the man can do whatever he wants to.
The man is pants. The man has no pants. Let's do it. All right, let's do it.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, fun run.
So is there any type of connection between what you do on stage to prepare for that role opposed to, I guess this can be considered just, like a reading, because I've done readings with Dave in the past. I don't know, do you attack it differently? Obviously you probably read through it if you prepare in any way.
Well, I'll throw Dave under the bus again.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. I feel like you both just threw me under the bus with that one.
I really do like to try and read the script beforehand to have an idea of what's going on, to understand the story. Oftentimes I don't get the script too much ahead of time beforehand. And then there's a lot of times I do, and then I show up and it's a lot of red text on a new document, and it's, oh no, yeah, so I changed this and I want to do this. And so there's a lot of acting on the fly. A challenge of that is kind of keeping that consistency in terms of where has the character been right before it, where are they going, and kind of remembering those moments. But I would say one of the benefits to it that is a challenge in stage acting is in theater, you are running the same show over and over and over and over again, and you definitely find new little moments and minute details that are fresh and you may notice, an audience probably won't. But when you attack the material fresh for the first time, there have been many times we're recording where, we always try to get a couple takes, but oftentimes, Dave, I think you're like, oh no, yeah, that was good. That was exactly what I wanted. Let's like do a couple more just to make sure. But oftentimes when you kind of can put yourself in the situation and attack it with that fresh eye, you experience it for the first time, and that informs a lot of interesting choices that you don't get in stage theater because you've done it hundreds of times over and over.
How'd that feel?
Oh, you said, how did that feel?
Yeah.
I thought you said, I love you.
I mean, big hearts. Big heart. I mean, like, also, like, you're fine. Like, you have a Dash voice.
I want to do it one more time if I can, because I think I pulled just a bit too back on some of those moments. In my head, I got just a bit too quiet. I didn't want to go quite that far back.
Okay.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about this project in particular, too, is that I think across all aspects, it's such a collaborative project. And as you were saying, the story that you're telling is the story that you want to tell. And we are helping to tell that story, but in how it gets told and how certain things get shaped, it's exciting to have a say in that. And I think very quickly I kind of fell into how I viewed Dash, my take on the character, how he viewed the world, how he talked. And so I think very quickly I felt very comfortable being like, hey, what if he said it like this, or let me just kind of ad lib, let me improv a bit, change a couple things, and if you want to use it, great. If not, but I kind of I have this feeling I want to run with it. Let's see where it goes. And it's been that for, in terms of line delivery. But again, like we were saying, sometimes we'd read a line and it'd be like, it's not super clear, like what exactly is happening in this moment. How can we make it more clear for the audience to really convey, exactly what's happening? Because that's the other cool part is, even though it's entirely audio based, there's a lot of action in this series, which is very fun as a performer to be standing there kind of losing yourself reading it, even though you're just going into a mic. But it's constantly like, okay, how can we convey exactly the action that's happening? Because I can see it in my head, and I want to make sure that the audience is along for that ride, because it's a fun ride.
The clean shirt of mine, the one that Cindy brought in, suddenly leaps off the bed on its own and begins buttoning itself. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was easy. That was easy.
Leaps off the bed as if possessed.
As if alive.
I haven't checked it.
As if on a very muscular mannequin.
Look, I was trying to... That's
what I'm envisioning in my head.
That's what I was envisioning too, but I couldn't make those words, like...
No, happen. I get it.
Throw something like that in there.
Oh, Jared, what did you just do to me? Like, I have the season. Like, I kind of knew what it was going to be. I kind of knew what the story was going to be. It did actually kind of go a little left of where I was aiming for, which is a great thing. But I didn't... I was struggling with trying to get the first arc together, as I always am struggling to get the arc together. And I just kind of, like, one night, we were about to do something. I don't know if I don't know what we were going to do. We had it on the schedule to read something, but I know I kind of was like, I threw everything out the window, and it took me like 24 hours. I wrote a whole prologue for the season that was just like Dash, Cindy, Sal focused. Because I was like, that's the core of the show for me. And we did like the first reading, we didn't even record it, although I do have a picture. It was virtually, but we all read it together, and it felt so correct. It felt so right. So like, I thought starting the season at the end of the season and doing the entire season as a flashback was not what I had planned, but because you were coming into the cast, I needed to kind of throw everything to the side and start at a point in the story where we weren't just, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the next step. I needed to go all the way. I needed to go into the future. Mm-hmm. And which kind of made me way more excited about the season, because I don't know, you got to the ending of the story. So, and so like the enjoyment of the season is kind of discovering of how you get there. And Dash is very different than where he was, season 1, episode 1, just as a person.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to say any more because there's a lot more to it, but like there's which kind of made total sense for like where you come into the story, especially in that episode. It makes total sense that it's now you.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that, and I thought you did a wonderful job just jumping in.
Thank you.
So
everybody heard by his own admission, less than 24 hours for a script.
Man.
When you're in the business of being a private investigator, you run into a lot of nonsense. The kind that gets in the way. The kind that jams you up. That kind of fogs up the big picture. The big picture. Sorry, I had my hands in my pockets as I went to move and I heard it.
Wait, let me do this. It should be the kind, not that kind. So, thank you for reading my script like word perfectly. Gosh, this sounds so good. This sounds so good.
You wrote it.
It doesn't sound good when I do.
Okay.
I'm not blowing smoke, Jared, but I smiled the first time you spoke into the microphone here.
I appreciate that. It's such a fun role to do. Ultimately, we're telling the story, but we're acting, and we want to be good actors. We want you to believe us. And sometimes, you do a lot of great research and work into finding the language of the period. But like sometimes we'll come across a phrase or something, and it'll be like, "Listen, I know they said this. I am telling you, I cannot say this and have people believe that I'm saying it. I maybe it falls back on me as an actor. I can't convey this in a way that I think is believable, but it helps in that aspect too. And it's wonderful that we have that flexibility, I think, to all combine efforts and elevate this piece to a height that it wouldn't reach without each of our unique voices.
You have been listening to Dash, a conversation with Jared Calhoun. To hear the full extended version of this behind-the-scenes episode, support us at patreon.com/lightboothblackout at the Shine the Light Bright tier. We will be back next week with a trailer of our first case of Season 2, The Case of the Invisible Man. Chapter 1, premiering March 27th. Thank you for listening. I'm John Barker. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled. Once you know what to watch for, you always know there's more to the story.
Hey, welcome to the Last Comic Shop Podcast!
A comic book podcast that actually talks about comics.
Yep, each week we open the shop up and read and discuss a comic.
Sometimes we pair that up with comic book movies or TV shows.
Or not. Lots of times it's just comic books and sound effects.
Oh, yes. Definitely lots of sound effects.
So tune in on all the major podcasting platforms to the Last Comic Shop Podcast. Or check out our library of evergreen shows at www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. And sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.